Welcome back to Authentic Vlogging. If you have a look at the upper lip, you can see that November is going exceedingly well. I have kept my face free of moustache. Please donate to the charity of your choice and I will make sure that this upper lip stays completely clean during this entire month. Actually, one person did say in the comments that they'd like to see me with a moustache, so how about... No, I'm not going to grow a moustache. That is going to be over my dead body. Actually, that would be kind of interesting. You could potentially see me with a moustache if you killed me, because apparently hair keeps growing after you die. So if you killed me, then everything will keep growing, and as long as you were there, and presumably you would be there if you just killed me, then you could shave my chin and my cheeks and make sure that the only thing that grows is the moustache. Actually, on second thoughts, don't do that. I just realised a potential issue with that idea. But anyway, how's your week been? Mine has been pretty good. I've had a chat with my supervisor and I have now been told exactly what my 4th-year project is going to be about. And that is going to be having to measure the border of the UK. Now that may seem a little strange for a mathematics 4th-year project, I agree with that, but you have to remember what I told you a few weeks ago, that the mathematics department has been taken over by the geography department. It turned out actually that it wasn't really a money issue, it was actually a proper coup d'etat, like military hit and everything from the geography department, so we are now simply under their control. And so they were trying to find something that sounded vaguely maths related but that would still be useful to the geography department of course, and so I've been given the task of measuring the border of the UK. But you're probably bored right now because I promised you not to talk about my own life, so let's move on to something else. Apologies for something I said in my last vlog. Last week I may accidentally have said that people in Persia used to believe that the moon was actually made out of cheese. It turns out that this is not factually correct and it was in fact entirely made up. I also said that the First World War ended exactly 100 years ago, which of course isn't true, but that was a deliberate mistake. Moving on to stuff that was posted in the comments. This week's Empty Tic Tac Box Award for Most Interesting Comment, yes, goes to Abiraj, who pointed out that if the moon was made out of cheese, it would start melting, which is absolutely correct. But then, when night comes, which is I think 13 days later or something, then you get to the opposite side of the moon where the sun doesn't shine, and the cheese would freeze over again. So you would get a really, really wacky surface on the moon if it was made of cheese. For those who are curious, the reason that the temperatures get so extreme on the moon is because the moon doesn't have an atmosphere, whereas the Earth does. And an atmosphere is basically there to keep temperatures at a somewhat constant level. I think that pretty much sums up our discussion of the moon, so let's move on to my favourite segment of this vlog. Interesting answers to uninteresting questions. Quite a few people put up comments on my last vlog with some questions that I could answer, and I'll give you some of them I really liked. My favourite was probably, why were the original post-its yellow? Sadly, this question is disqualified for being an interesting one. I didn't know the answer to this one, so I looked it up, and I'm not going to tell you, but I would encourage you to also look it up, because it is a very amusing story why they are in fact yellow. Other questions that did not make it because they were interesting are, why do they still make reality television and why are people stupid enough to actually watch it? This, again, is a fairly interesting question and I have my own opinion on it and maybe you do too. And then, is there a Santa Claus and where does he live? There is a huge debate about where Santa Claus lives, and if I remember correctly, I think the main candidates are Canada, the North Pole, Greenland and Finland, or something like that. So again, this is an interesting question. All these are interesting questions and I sadly cannot answer them in this vlog because I only do interesting answers to uninteresting questions. Hopefully someone will post some more uninteresting questions on the comments here, but if not then I might go and answer these questions in another video. There were 2 uninteresting questions. How long is a piece of string? That is very good. It's also extremely hard to answer, so I might pass on that one, but maybe if I have enough courage I'll attempt that one and another one. And then finally, why does it always rain just when I want to go somewhere? This question was submitted by Shell and is indeed an uninteresting question because most people just shrug it off as being not interesting. But it does have an interesting answer and that's what I'm going to give you now. I don't know why I'm still looking at the paper, it's just a blank one. I just felt it looked more professional. So why does it always rain just when I'm about to go somewhere? The simple answer is it doesn't. It's not more likely to rain when you're about to go somewhere. It's not more likely to rain if you forget to bring your umbrella. And it's not less likely to rain if you do bring the umbrella. However, we tend to believe these things. And why do we? Well, there is something called confirmation bias, which is essentially when you have a certain belief, then you'll tend to observe only the things that confirm your belief and remember these things and forget all the things that disprove your belief. It sounds very abstract and theoretical when it's explained in words, and it's usually easier to demonstrate when you have an example. And we have the perfect example with us. Why does it always rain when I'm about to go somewhere? So suppose you're about to go out and it starts raining. This is not too improbable, but if it happens, it's really going to annoy you, and you're going to remember that, and you're going to feel, just for a second, that when you go out, it always rains. Then, a few days later, you need to go out again, and it's not raining, and you don't register this because this fact is so unimportant that it's not even worth thinking about. And that's what happens with most of the times when you have to go out and it's not raining. But then the next Monday, you need to go out again, and once again, it's raining. And you think about the day before when it was nice weather and you didn't have to go out, and you wonder, why is it always raining when I have to go out? This happened last week as well. And so every time this instance happens, it will confirm your belief, and you will only look for and remember the times when you go out and it was raining. And that's how confirmation bias works, and that's why people have these beliefs. From why does it never rain when I remember to bring my raincoat, to something like why do I always forget my phone on the important days? These things are not true, but you only remember the days when they were true. Shell, I hope that gave you an interesting answer to your uninteresting question. Don't forget to post a comment on the Great Gatsby video that I posted earlier this week, giving me a reply to the question I asked you about achieving your dreams. Because then maybe we can discuss it in next week's vlog. Actually, no, sorry, there's not going to be a vlog next week, because I will be out travelling. I will be in Kent next week, where I will begin my measurements of the British coastline, so that I can figure out how long it is for my fourth year project. So, have a good time. This is the Missing N, signing out.